guys, it's Brian here, Stogie Review, IPCPR 2018. We're here in the Davidoff booth, and we're talking about what's going on with Davidoff, guys. You're celebrating a 50th anniversary. What's new? What are you doing to celebrate 50 years in the business?
So we're celebrating with 50 days.
50 days?
We are starting tonight with the 50 years anniversary party over at the flagship store. That's the kickoff for the festivities, let's put it that way. So in terms of activations, we are having events globally, but much of it is linked to products. So there's a limited edition Diademas Finas coming out, which goes back to the Zino 100 blend. So that's a cigar we launched back in the days when Zino would have celebrated his 100th anniversary. Beautiful shape, a beautiful cigar, which comes in jars. You'll see it on the show. I'll make sure you do a video of it. So that's what's happening on the product side. There is accessories, there is Lidos, so a full-fledged limited edition collection of cigars. But then there is also the chef's edition. So we have teamed up with 5 world-renowned chefs, 2 and 3 star Michelin chefs, and have co-created with them. So our master blenders met them in the Dominican Republic and have co-created a blend with them. And we're activating this and celebrating this at their restaurants. So for example, Thomas Kello, the chef from California, his restaurant is the French Laundry. We're doing an event with him in October, and that continues on throughout the rest of the year.
Very cool, very cool. So that special Davidoff is coming out, you said in jars, correct? When are we going to start seeing that? Is that shipping right away, or is that going to be something we're going to see later on in the year?
You'll have that in stores as of Monday, I hear.
As of Monday?
Yes,
okay.
yes. So we've collaborated. We've enlisted a French artist. Her name is Marianne Léger, and building on Taste the Wider World, she has created patterns that are inspired by the four corners of the world. So the 4 jars individually have different patterns. One of them is inspired by Europe, the next one by Asia, then by the Middle East, and by the Americas. So that's what's waiting in stores as of Monday.
And so all 4 of those will all of those different jars will be available in the U.S. It won't be like a regional release or anything. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
What are we looking for in terms of MSRP on that?
Need to hand over to Dylan.
Which of course I have no idea what the MSRP is on it. I believe it's in the 30 range,
yes.
Right? Yeah. So 10 cigars per jar. Absolutely beautiful cigar, right? Inspired by Zino's 100th anniversary Diadema, right? We actually sold them in about 3 days. So it's probably one of the quickest selling limited editions that we've ever had.
Can you tell us about the composition of those cigars? Wrapper, binder, filler. Do you have that?
I don't have that information on me. It's secret, man. Secret until we publish it.
Yeah. So it's semi-secret. It's a blend majorly Dominican tobaccos. There's Dominican Seco and Dominican Olor in it, and the wrapper is Ecuadorian. And it's a beautiful, mild, creamy cigar, but due to the Diademas Finas format, depending on how you cut it, and when you light it, you'll have more of the wrapper taste. So it's a beautifully changing cigar. From the first to the second to the third of that cigar, you have a beautiful evolution of taste within that cigar.
So what are we looking at in terms of production? I'm assuming it's going to be pretty limited in terms of what's available, correct?
It's pretty limited, yeah. Global production is at 4,000 jars, so 40,000 cigars. And you need to be quick, as Dylan said. The company in the US has already sold out, and as we said, we are shipping on Monday.
Okay. Well, you guys use a good amount of Nicaraguan tobacco these days. How is the situation in Nicaragua having any impact on your production, what you're doing, any of your processes? It's something that I think is a major concern for a lot of people. I think people are still getting product out, but it's on the edge of becoming a problem. So is that any issue for you at this point?
Luckily it is not. We are not impacted at the moment. Luckily we have built up the inventories that we need. We keep continuing also blending with Nicaraguan tobacco. So the political situation at the moment is not affecting us. It's obviously worrisome what's happening. But from a supply side, we are fine, we are safe.
You've seen some pretty consistent growth. It's amazing how you can stay on top of the game. What are you doing to, what's the secret to this? What's the secret of this growth, with the continued growth, staying on top of the game? How are you guys doing it? I don't know. What's your formula, or is that proprietary as well?
No, I think it's strong brands and taking care of strong brands and keeping them strong. And next to commercial execution, that you have to go for to seek to find something that's as good. I think I'm proud to say that as we have a brand that's celebrating 50 years today, or this year, we build on that heritage. We keep building on that pioneering spirit of our founder, which is Zino Davidoff. He ventured out to Brazil and Ecuador and Argentina and Cuba when he was 14 years old. So we keep that spirit alive. Everything we do needs to expand a consumer's taste stimulations. It needs to drive an experience. Dylan and I like both to say we are not exactly selling cigars, we are selling experiences and moments. So according to us, and building on Davidoff Time Beautifully Filled, if you don't spend 2 beautiful hours with a Davidoff cigar, it's not worthy of a Davidoff cigar. So activation at events, not just being at events and go for price, for example. I think that the brand has a promise, and every day we really try everything to fulfill that promise.
Very cool. Is there, in the future, do you ever see a possibility of possibly blends featuring Cuban tobacco again, as relationship seems to be loosening up with Cuba and the U.S.? Is that something that's possible in the future, do you think, or is Davidoff kind of done with Cuba overall, in terms of the tobacco?
So never say never is obviously what I would answer to that. Cuba, as a territory, grows excellent tobaccos. On the other hand, you guys got a major part in this, right? So I think under your prior president, there was a lot. These tensions were reducing.
Yes.
Under today's administration, we see that's going back to not as harmonious as it could have been. In terms of what we want to blend with as many origins as we can. We want to craft the best blends we can. In that sense, Cuban tobaccos are super interesting. We are super happy and are very proud of what we've built in the Dominican Republic in Santiago with Henki Kelby. So from a tobacco expertise, from the art of blending, those craftsmen, those master blenders, they just need inspiration and they need the best raw materials they can get their hands on to turn them into something that's truly beautiful. Cuban tobacco might as well play a role in that, yes.
Okay, so there's a possibility. Speaking of other things involving political situations, the whole FDA situation, has it become a burden for you? I know that we've gotten a reprieve a bit on warning labels and things like that. I mean, is that a consideration? I know in the past when I've talked to some people at Davidoff, there was concern. There was some big concern about that. Is there still concern, or are you optimistic? And you feel really prepared for this, or is it just too up in the air at this point?
Yeah, I mean, the concerns are there, obviously. I mean, we're not through the woods by any means. Constraint on resources, without a doubt. I can tell you that I spent numerous amounts of months working with our legal folks, getting our product list together. I mean, you can imagine what our product list would look like in terms of the amount of SKUs versus some of the other manufacturers. I mean, the preparation, we're prepped. This warning label reprieve was a huge blessing that's going to save a lot of people a lot of money. So it's a great thing that they did that. I mean, it was, I think, a really big win for us. But yeah, I mean, we're not out of the woods by any means. I mean, we still got to fight the fight. And hopefully what goes on with, the lawsuit, hopefully within the next 12 months, we'll see some light at the end of the tunnel through that.
You've got some preparation in that, you're selling a lot of cigars in Europe, so you already have labeling that you have to do for a lot of products. So that's maybe gives you an advantage over people that have never had to deal with that before. Is that a fair thing to say, or is it?
I mean, Eddie can speak to TPD2 a little bit more, but we've been preparing for this. I mean, this is we're a little bit bigger of a ship to turn when we have to make some changes like this. I mean, this has been a multi-year process. I mean, thankfully, but not thankfully, I think TPD2, what was going on in terms of preparation for that. We obviously got a little bit of a head start on what was to come for the U.S., but by no means is it easy. I mean, if you think of the amount of labor that goes in and just, the stupid costs really that go into putting these warning labels on, I mean, it's owners. It really is.
I think we are well trained, right? Davidoff is a global brand, so compliance is something we have on top of our list, and we're able to be compliant and make sure we are. Obviously, it puts a strain on local resources, like now in the US. What's beautiful to see is you're able to turn that, the political agenda a little bit in our direction. So I guess that's also a calling to every consumer out there. I know about the CRA, about other organizations that put these questions on the political agenda. We're not so lucky in Europe. We are way worse in Asia, for example, where regulation is very tough on us. But we are ready. That's not the issue. It's just, it takes away from the experience, right? It takes away from the beauty of this business.
So there's no way Davidoff is getting scared off from the American market. There's no chance of that ever happening from the regulation standpoint, right? That's never going to be a situation where the regulation comes down and you say, you know what, America's just too difficult.
As long as tobacco is not forbidden in America, there is no way we are leaving America, absolutely.
Okay.
Davidoff cigars are sold in Australia. Australia has plain packaging today, and we managed to be compliant in Australia and are successful there as well. So compliance is something you need to be dealing with, you need to embrace, and you need to do the best of it. It's just not a nice topic.
Yeah, well, it's something we have to talk about and something we have to think about. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the cigar we're smoking. What can you tell me about the Master Blend Selection 7 that we're smoking here?
So that goes back to our master blender in Santiago, Eladio Diaz. He's always been blending cigars for his personal birthdays, and has always been handing out these cigars to individuals in the company or when he was at events, and they are truly masterful blends. They're highly exclusive because they are composed of tobaccos that are very rare in our inventories. So inventories are very low. There is a series of master blends. I'm not sure, I think it's now 8 blends in the US, if I'm not wrong. And I would have to lie if I could talk to you about this blend right now. But I think they're in flagship stores only, I'm not sure. But highly exclusive and very, very good.
I've seen some really nice packaging with some of these. I think there was a big cabinet I saw just recently before it came out here. Those
nice kind of piece to put inside of our shop, and it merchandises, all 15 of the different cigars, in a pretty unique way. I mean, not any way that we've ever displayed cigars before. So
it's very sharp. Guys, is there anything else that you'd like to tell our viewers about where Davidoff is, or products, or any accessories that we haven't talked about yet that you would like to go over?
It's really celebrate the 50th anniversary of this iconic brand with us, please. Look out, there is a ton of events at retail happening for the second half of the year. The accessories, as I highlighted, the Cave du Monde, are beautiful humidors. They'll definitely be on display in our flagship stores. I hope other appointed merchants have taken advantage as well. They are truly masterpieces created by artists, so something that's very rare. The lighters are beautiful. There is a pipe tobacco coming, but there's not just Davidoff. We celebrate the 30th anniversary of Avo cigars as well.
Can't forget Avo.
Can't forget Avo, which is a bittersweet moment for me actually, because I've traveled for 12 years with Avo the man, and he was my mentor and learned me how to live a good life. So while he's not with us anymore, I'm super excited about the products that Dylan and that Scott and Sarah, the brand managers, have put out this year. So we are bringing back the iconic Avo LEO 5. The Avo 22 is coming back, one of the first limited editions ever. So what's happening around Avo this year is also truly exciting and something you guys should look at.
Definitely looking forward to smoking some of those. Guys, Ed, Dylan, thank you so much for talking to us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.